All right, so I'm here with Kathryn Logan, purchasing agent for the city of Quincy. Last time you saw the two of us, what was happening to us?
I don't know, Leah.
Where do we begin? Last time you saw us, we were at the...
You probably saw the back of us as we were getting lost, as they say.
Yeah, and that was the last city council meeting. So talk about going out with a bang.
Yes, my friend.
We went out with a bang on that
June 22nd, 6/22/2026. Donald's birthday.
Donald's birthday.
Yeah,
Okay.
June 22nd.
So for those of you who don't know what's going on, there is a scandal going on in the city of Quincy. A coup. Something is going on. It's already been resolved. The person has been tried.
Okay. Yeah,
So
sorry.
we were in the last city council meeting where the ordinance committee of the city of Quincy had met up to talk about the Clasby situation, right? So people who don't know who Tom Clasby is, there was a scandal with Elder Services, and he's been serving, I think, 6 months in prison and has to pay.
He was just ordered to. Yeah, I think the sentencing 6 months in prison and 6 months house arrest, I believe, and a restitution payment.
Yeah, around $136,000.
Yeah, there may even be some house arrest and then maybe some probation, I believe, after.
Okay. So I think what we were doing in that council meeting, or I think how I felt that council meeting was, it was kind of more like an opportunity for the city council to make the administration look bad, the mayor's office look bad, or try to implicate people who weren't even involved in it. And since this, there was also a press release that Thomas Clasby did absolving everybody in the city, saying he acted alone and all these things. And that's where Kathryn comes in, because she was involved in a pretty nasty attack. And that's all exchange.
Yeah.
Okay. Exchange at the city council meeting. So,
And because of you, my friend, sticking up for me,
I got kicked.
Which is what you do on a daily basis, is stick up for people so fairly, I might add. You know what I mean? You do, Leah. Everything you do is from completely fair lens, and I appreciate that. But yeah, you were sticking up for me.
Yeah, I did.
And then you got tossed.
And then I got tossed. Yeah, well, it was not right what happened.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, so let's go through, what happened. So you get up at the city council meeting. It's a highly charged council meeting. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
People,
sorry, don't mean to. People, and I've said this, Leah, people watching at home have no idea the amount of, like you said, like almost like electricity, negatively charged electricity that's in that room on those nights.
Right.
And you can't get the sense, but from watching at home, I don't think, but you're right. It was already a negatively charged atmosphere.
When you're in the room, you can kind of feel just that there's something that's not of good faith.
Totally.
Right?
It's not going down a good road. You know that. Like, you know that.
Right. Right. Anybody who watches it sees the innuendos and the this and that. So you finally, we have someone get up who is who is that woman who's
she's the treasurer. That's okay. I am. So I went in kind of as part of the team, the mayor's team or whatever.
I was not expecting you. I didn't know, because I don't really know what you do.
Okay.
So for everybody who doesn't know, our children are best friends. So I actually never even knew you worked for the city ever. Like I've known Donald forever, but I never really knew what you did until all this started happening, and you come up to me at a city council meeting, and I was like, what are you doing here? And you're like, I work for the Quincy. I was
funny.
Like, I do?
And I didn't know
idea.
It was you that was writing the article. I mean, the Facebook stuff. And I was like, who is this person who's literally like genius?
Oh, you're so
I'm not even kidding, Leah. That was my first thought. And I was like immediately engrossed. And I was like, you know what? This person just articulated so beautifully what has been in my head and a lot of other people's heads, but you just got it. You were like our outlet to get it done in writing. And I've told you since that your writing has just completely taken off, my friend.
Thank you.
On fire and on fleek and completely on point, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. Well, so, it's obvious, and I think what's interesting is
there for you.
The material is there. When people read it and they're like, I never even knew this was going on at the city council meeting.
Yeah.
And I always say, you know what? Do your own research.
True, you're right.
And then when people look at it, they're
Absolutely,
like, wait a
Leah.
minute, what you're saying is true. I try to say, now, of course, sometimes I have my own little shady
Right,
opinions too.
right.
That's going to
Well,
come
that's
through.
okay,
But
right?
the
Yeah.
majority of it
You're
is
human. You get a right to your
a
opinion. You
lot
know what
of
I
people,
mean?
a
Right.
lot of people seem to say. So
Wait,
back,
Leah, I was
what?
gonna say to you too, just to carry on that point, when you say watch it yourself,
Yeah,
I'm actually so glad it's on film.
I know.
And I feel incredibly grateful because can you imagine what you and I have gone through? That's what we've been put through. Can you imagine if it wasn't on film, the lies that would have been spun? And that's what Peter Blandino, when I was talking to him, and he said, Kathryn, I'm going to try and present this as fair and balanced as I can. And I said, Peter, I know you will. And I leaned over in the phone like this. I was like, I know you will because it's all on tape, Peter. It's all on tape. You can't lie. You know what I mean? You can see my actions. You can see your actions, Leah. Conversely, we can see theirs too, right? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, what's good about it
Like
too?
Photogate, which we could talk about another day with, a
Okay,
certain
yeah, yeah,
counselor, that was all on film and
right.
you are
I
able
caught
to
it.
see it, right? So
Yeah,
I'm grateful for cameras.
yeah.
I feel like I don't do anything wrong, so I don't care if you have a camera following me. I try and follow the law, and so I'm grateful for those, you
Yeah, I
know?
know, and I think that when I started doing my research into this back in October, when I
Yeah,
found out the statues, Peter Blandino, he does get a bad rap because sometimes he presents things the way he wants them to, but at least the information is there.
true. At least
Like
he's trying to
I'm
put some
able,
out there,
it's out there,
and you can get it, you research it, and you
research it.
put it
I can,
on.
but there are the things that he doesn't report on. So I think with the Patriot Ledger and Peter Blandino, it's not what you say, it's what you don't say.
True.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
omission,
he
totally.
leaves some of the stuff out, but I
Totally,
feel
Leah. I agree
lately,
with that. Yep.
I do feel lately though, his reporting has shifted a little bit and he
Okay.
seems to be a little less
Yeah, because
slanted.
how can you continue to support people when they themselves are clearly shooting themselves in the
They
foot?
feed
You know what I mean?
they feed
Right.
him.
They feed him, but he's also witnessing it too, Leah. He was there that night. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He was there at that council meeting that night. And like I said, you can only spin it so much. But the other thing, which again, we're going to talk about, but I feel very strongly, and I think it's ironic that we're here during our first podcast on July 5th, the cusp of Independence Weekend, because another thing that bothers me that night, right? And I know it bothers you, but like people were calling me, Leah, and texting me, and I appreciated every single one of those calls. I really did. But the thing, and they were like, Kathryn, I'm proud of you, this and that. But the thing that bothered me more, Leah, it wasn't even like about me. It was so above me. It was about like such a blatant violation of people's civil rights and civil liberties, like us getting tossed from a public building, us being silenced for saying something. Do you know how many people, Leah, even today, I told you I met so many wonderful people at the Milton Marketplace, right? I couldn't even get out.
Mindful.
But they were like, we couldn't hear. They're like, we
Right.
couldn't hear what was going on. They're like, we couldn't hear what was said. They're like,
Right.
because they kept
They
muting
kept muting,
it,
they kept cutting
Leah.
the mics. Yeah, yeah.
That's not right.
So let's
That's
start.
not legal, is it?
I don't
You know
I don't
that.
think so.
It's a
I don't
violation
think
of
so,
open
no.
meeting laws, but how many of you filed and they
No,
go,
this is my fourth.
nowhere?
This will be
Yeah.
I haven't filed it yet, but I will. I'm waiting.
I
I'm
guess
taking a
the
break for the
Fox
holiday.
is watching the hen house on those ones.
So let's start with, oh my God, I get a call in my hair, but let's start with that meeting that night.
Okay.
So
So I was there on behalf of the mayor's
you're there
team,
on
or
behalf
a
of the
member.
mayor's team. Now I remember Maggie McKee.
Can I say something first? I wasn't exactly invited, but when I saw that they had on the ordinance that they were going
Yeah.
for quote unquote transparency in purchasing,
Yeah.
I called the chief of staff, Mr. Walker, and I said, Chris, I'm going to be there because to me, even when I read that, Leah, I feel like it's an insinuation that purchasing is not transparent. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I said, I'm going to be there and I'm going to defend my department and my coworkers.
Right. So I
So I
think
was there.
no, so you were there. So
Yeah.
you're there, and then we have, we hear all different
I
things.
was sitting next to the
So
chief and we were laughing too. This is important later on. Just remember that, okay?
so I think
Him and
people
I were laughing,
people
which he's a nice guy.
people have to realize is that there was, even before you got up, there was innuendo
From the start.
from the
From the
start.
start.
There was an agenda there that was trying to make it sound like the administration had done something wrong.
Yeah.
They were
Was part-
complicit in some
right, was
way.
part of it.
There was
Yeah.
just things peppered. So by the time
Yep.
you get up there,
Yes. And
you're
can I say
already
something?
upset.
About a year prior to this, and I think I sent you the emails, Counselor Riley had sent me an email on a completely different topic. She is hell-bent for some reason against the Native American statues that are being
Right.
planned.
I actually did a records request for that, and I
Okay,
saw
good.
those emails because as you know, I was heavily involved in just showing support for the Native
Well, I
Americans.
mean, yes, you were, rightfully so, right?
Right.
And you're from Squantum.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
I've
like,
been squatting for a long time.
okay, Leah,
I miss
I
it.
was so excited. And the girls in my office, everyone, quite frankly, was so excited about that project.
Yeah.
We can discuss it at a later date if you want. However, she was bombarding me. She was completely against it. She did not think it warranted $895,000 of the taxpayer money. She wanted to know this. She wanted messages with the tribe. And I was like, Council Riley, they're a sovereign nation. They're not subject to 30B. You know what I mean? Like, hello. But anyway, she said at that time, after going back and forth, Leah, I have a list of emails, which again, I'm so glad stuff's in writing, you know what I mean, and on film. So after giving her everything we had and incessantly emailing me consistently about it, I said, I don't have anything further for you. To which she replied, and I sent this to Peter, but I think I sent it too late. I didn't know when he was posting that article. To which she replied, Miss Logan, I think she said, let's try this again, shall we? Like in her condescending way. She said, I am looking for this and this. It would be in your best interest to provide it to me, given purchasing's role in the Tom Clasby matter.
Oh,
Yes,
so
she
then
did.
people have to realize
Yep.
that city council is not like they're not meeting you guys for the first time. There's history
Yeah,
there.
totally.
There's history
Totally.
with them as city councilors,
Yes.
and there's history with them as
They were
citizens.
candidates.
So
Yep.
now that
Yes,
so
exactly,
when they're
Leah.
regular citizens
Yep.
and they're dealing with the
Maggie
administration,
McGee, she's
Maggie
been
McGee.
foiling us for years.
Yes.
Years. She's always gotten what she's wanted in the time frame, allotted to us. Yeah.
So now we have Maggie McKee.
Yep.
And these people are probably very excited to have you, and they're in a position of power.
Yeah, I
and
think
you're
so.
standing before them. So there is a people that are kind of getting their like jollies.
I think
off
they
of being-
thought they were going to.
they thought they were going to, yeah, but they were wrong. So then you come up, right?
Yeah, there was a question. So, like you said, I think Walker started. Paul Delababa may have gotten up, and then Molly Smith got up.
About I knew nothing. I know nothing about purchase orders.
Well, you were there.
No,
I know.
I heard.
Okay.
But you get up and you. So I'm not.
Yes.
I never did research on what purchase orders are.
I can tell you guys.
So you get up.
Yep.
No, well, I did after.
Okay.
You get up and you say she wants to know about the purchase. She wants to know about the purchasing orders. Now, someone who's just a layperson who's watching this, like, oh, it's an innocent question. She just wants to know about purchasing orders. That's not what it is.
No, it wasn't.
She knows.
Underline.
Yeah,
you think?
She knows.
Yeah,
she knows that she's setting you up for something nefarious with the purchase orders, but you came with your receipts.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk me through that when you get up and you start talking about the purchase order, the munis, the this and that. Yep. Explain what's going through your head, what you're saying at that moment.
All right. So I'm sitting there. Molly was there, and I heard Counselor McGee say, why do we have so many purchase orders, or why is there a need for so many purchase orders? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I said, I can answer this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I stood up and I said, that's how we pay in the city. So like you said, for those that don't know, that would almost be like equivalent to like a pay slip. Like if you work for a private company, like if you want to pay for something, you may have to enter like a pay slip and it goes signed by the department head. Yeah. It's like it goes through the chain. It starts with the department that needs something, whoever will order it, then in order to pay, they have to enter into a requisition on Munis. Munis is our like pay system, okay? It's like Tyler Technologies, huge, conglomerate. There's no nefarious business going on with them. Don't say it, counselors. So they're our pay system, Munis. And so people enter requisitions, and then the department head will approve it. Then it goes to Paul Delabarber because he's the finance. So he verifies that there's money. And then it goes to me, and I make sure that the purchase was done in accordance with Mass General laws.
Because you are
a lawyer.
That's right.
But however, I mean, yeah, you're right. And I think that has always been us being an attorney in my role, because we deal on a daily basis with Mass General laws.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we do. I look at it. If I have questions, I call the department. So that's what I deal with. So that's what I did. I got up and I said, well, that's our pay mechanism. That's how we pay with the city. And then I don't know if she was like, if she felt embarrassed or something for saying that, but she said, no, that's not what I meant. And I was like, okay. What did you mean?
What did she mean?
I think she meant, and this, I don't even know how I would have answered, but she did say she meant not why are there so many purchase orders? Why is there a need for so many services, which then generate purchase orders?
I don't even know what that means.
Right. Because I was going to say, well, like, we don't know when like a toilet is going to break at a school, but we get it fixed. We don't put like a yellow tape saying shut, closed or whatever. You know what I mean? We just go fix it. Right. So like at your house, you have more of like your own private home. You have more luxury to say like, yeah, I need my back stairs fixed, but I'm going to block that back door off and do it next season when I save up, the money for it, whatever. We don't have that luxury, right? If there are stairs that need repairing, we have to do it because we don't want someone to fall. So like, we don't know, like she asked why there was a need for so many services, like because we're a city of over 100,000 people.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I guess I don't really get that question either, but that was it.
But then you had the receipts. So we get to what she's really talking about, which what she's leading up to is that Celtic company.
Right. And did you hear Council Riley towards the end of her tirade say that you guys didn't know? It was quite obvious at least one company was fake. And that's what she was referring to, I'm assuming.
So you came.
Yep.
Because you got up and you said, hey, listen.
Yeah.
You said there's a lot of
Monday morning quarterbacking, which there was, and victim blaming, right? We were victims too.
Right.
We had no idea. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. Like you don't look at something like you said with this nefarious lens. You just can't, Leah. It's not realistic, right? You wouldn't get anything done.
They say hindsight's 20/20, and there's a reason for that. So you felt the need to bring that purchase order, the Celtic one.
Yes.
So I think that it's important to note that
we did have one.
You had one.
Yes, we did.
You did
and
due diligence.
Meredith went so far as to call the Secretary of State's office in New York and verify that they had registered with the Secretary of State's office as a legal company at that time.
Right. And you have to realize this has been a fully federal investigation.
Yes, there it has, top to bottom.
That's completed. So if there was anybody involved, the feds certainly would have found out before the city council does.
Well, if I was being really snarky, I wanted to say, but I'm sure you guys are smarter than the FBI too, right? That's what I wanted to say.
That's the point. Yeah.
They had us all in separately, me included. I did not have to go in front of the grand jury, but I did get interviewed separately. They were very, very nice. But when I tell you, Leah, they had the answers to every question before they even asked us, okay? I've spoken to other people that were very much closer to him, to Mr. Clasby, that when they went into the feds, they had asked them questions about some bank deposits or something from his own personal bank account. And he explained, because I don't know if like he deposited a check for Clasby or Clasby did for him or something, but they asked him and he explained it, and he said something, and they had already had his bank records, Leah. and this is like a person they were interviewing. They have it's a saying
so
that the FBI knows the answer to every question before they
they're
ask
not
it,
asking the
right?
question.
Exactly.
So the reality is that you have this council order for transparency,
Yep.
and they weaponize the Clasby case constantly, which
Yep.
really is like salt in the wound.
Seriously,
Because
it really is.
this was these people's friends. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Co-worker
Co-worker,
for
friends, whatever they
years,
were
you know
for
what I
years. You
mean?
know what I mean? So there was
The elderly were victimized. They loved him. You know what I mean,
so
Leah? They loved
people
him.
love this
It's
guy, right?
sad, you know?
So you have a council order that's come in to
Yeah.
talk about this.
Right.
You have a
It
FBI investigation that's
yeah.
already concluded. It's come up with nothing on other people. Otherwise, it would have been known. And yet they still proceed to get this in on the last council meeting. And so you
I
have
think it was even a special one. I
it was
think
a
they added it.
they
Edited it so bad.
wanted to get this in so
Yeah,
bad. So
yeah.
they wanted to conclude this.
Yeah, that's
So
why Susan O'Connor wasn't there and Nikki. They were both like, we're going to be away. They added it, an extra one.
right. So
Just to get it in.
just to
Just
get
to
it in.
stick it before the summer break.
Just to stick it before some break. Yeah. And obviously
Yep.
they've been dying to kick me out of meetings since January. So they got that done. So I know it was ridiculous. So let's talk about
Leah, did they kick you out before though? They
never.
didn't. I thought they did. Okay.
No,
Oh,
never. No.
so we're both
no,
virgins in that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and they unlawful. They didn't kick me out
Yes.
rightfully, but
No,
so I
it
have
was
some.
illegal.
We'll get into that at the end, but I have some quotes here that I have from the city council meeting that I had printed off because this is just a little bit of the nasty things that they were saying, and this was before you were thrown out and I was thrown. Or maybe it could. Some of them could have been after, but
Okay.
we start with David Jacobs.
It's hard to really listen to.
Let's start with David Jacobs. He says, this is the quote, "Because I have it, I did some research, and the former city treasurer, Deborah Coughlin, and Tom Clasby are related." So he's using his platform to like damage her reputation for no good reason at all.
Nice.
Mind you, everybody realize the investigation by the FBI has already concluded.
Exactly.
If there was anything between Deborah Coughlin and Tom Clasby,
come on,
I mean,
absolutely.
I don't even know how really they're related.
Hello.
You know how they're related? When I are related.
Are you probably
Like, you know, they're related.
like Quincy relation, Quincy cousins.
You know how when you go on Ancestry.com, you find out you got a fifth cousin 35 times removed? That's probably how they're related.
Mine was 99%. 0.9 Ireland, you know. Isn't that weird? Like no other nation.
No, I think that's great. So
what were yours? Italian and Irish?
Italian, Irish, Portuguese. So let's just set the scene. You have David Jacobs, who really looks like Lurch. He looks like Lurch.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He looks like Lurch.
That's rude. Okay, yes.
Actually, Lurch is better looking. You have him standing there, and he's acting like he's come up with like this big revelation. You know, like these people are getting their
seriously.
Son here.
I did my research where on Ancestry.com. Like, where the hell did you research that?
What research are we?
North Quincy High Yearbook, 1972.
I know he stands there like he's like dropping a ball. I found out that I heard that he said that she said that you said that I said that they were related.
Where were you on the day of today?
And let's not talk about like people have messaged me about this. Yeah. And I don't know who Deborah Coughlin is from a hole in the wall.
She's really nice.
But everybody is jumping to this woman's defense. They're so like, nice. How
she's
dare
lovely.
they?
And her husband so you know her husband, honey. He must have been a counselor when you were at North. Dan Coughlin.
I don't know anybody. That's the thing.
You didn't know the school counselors?
This is what's so good about
so nice. But he always donates blood.
But this is what's so good about me is that I don't know anybody.
Yeah, no, you're right. That you are totally unbiased. You're right, honey.
If anything,
you're right.
If anything, I hate everybody.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. I will
too.
hate everybody. I'm a hater. So it's like whatever. And then Chris Walker, he gets up, or was it Timmons? No, it was Chris Walker. He's like, you're making.
Wait. Are you you continuing with me or no?
No, well, we're talking about when Timmons defends.
Okay. See, I got tossed by then, and I didn't watch the second half, so you're gonna have to tell that.
So he says, oh, and then they cut his mic on Solicitor Timmons. Listen to this. He gets up. He goes, "You're making insinuations that are an absolute disgrace about a treasurer who served with honor and then they cut his mic.
And then did he start
I
yelling
have to
louder
get
after?
I have to get the clip of that. I
Yeah,
have to get the
please,
clip
because
of
like I
that.
said, I've been warned by my sisters
Yeah.
not to watch the second half because I think I was bashed probably perpetually throughout. And so they said don't watch it, but I heard that.
I don't.
Now, did he speak over the mic? I'm just curious.
She looks at him and she's like, Mahoney, and they dismiss him and they're like, yep, you're done. You're done. All
They
done.
said that to him.
Cut his mic. Yeah. Which is, let me say,
Which is
that's
done.
against Robert's rules. You're supposed to let
Really?
people finish. And
And it's
they,
against civil rights as well, right? I mean,
and then we got
freedom of
Ann
speech, I
Mahoney
don't know.
wants to bring up the Men of Divine Mercy again.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're all part of Men of Divine Mercy. And I find it impossible to believe that optics isn't standing out to everybody. I'm bringing it up tonight just because of the actions of one of your directors coming up and speaking to us. I think she was talking about
Me?
maybe.
Oh my God.
But what does it mean? What do you have to do with the Men of Divine Mercy?
No,
Now-
just because of the way I spoke to her, she's gonna bring that up as like
She's gross. So let's put it this.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's like bizarre.
That's a quote.
That's what she said.
That's a quote.
Just because
But you're
one
not
of the
direct-
way
you're
I
not
am a director of purchasing.
Oh, you are.
Just
Oh, girl.
know I
I'm
ran-
not the big baller here. She's
You-
a director.
you
of
remember
purchasing?
you know
I
I
did
ran
not.
you know I ran against her for school committee, right?
No.
But that's so because I spoke to them, I had the nerve to speak to the Queen. She's gonna bring up the Men of Divine Mercy. She wasn't gonna, but because of
do
the
it
way
now.
one of her directors spoke to her, now she's gonna do it. So it's my fault ultimately. She's fucking dangerous.
Well, let's
yeah.
put it this way. It's like that toxic, abusive relationship
Tot-
I've said
It
all the
is,
time.
Leah.
These people
It
are.
is.
She is.
Honey, I'm divorced twice. You know what I mean? I ain't putting up with that shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? From them, I don't put it up with my men.
I know, right? That's how you can spot it.
Hello, Leah, you're right. And I feel like going to those meetings is like going into your
Sure.
home. If you are being in an abusive relationship, you walk in there like tense. You know what I mean?
Well, let's
Do you? You don't look like you walk in there tense at all with your I love Jesus hat.
No.
You come strutting in. I'm the one like tense. Although again, I wasn't that morning, that evening, Leah. I was sitting next to Chief laughing. I wasn't
But you
tense.
have to realize you work for the city,
Right.
right? I don't.
Right. Yeah. So there's already a
I'm
level
all the
of
way over here
Yeah,
for
thank-
Ridge and Weymouth,
lucky
so
for
I
you,
can
honey.
be a little bit more
Yeah.
like relaxed about it. But so now let's talk about the Men of Divine Mercy. Now this is
Wait.
the problem I have with
Go
the Men of Divine Mercy thing.
Okay.
Now that is a Catholic group, and these men get together and they do Catholic stuff like
Nothing
pray,
wrong with that,
like
right?
pray for people, right?
Maybe we need more of that.
Maybe we need more of that.
You know
But
what
the
I mean?
reality is that because it is a Catholic group, there's no religious protections on it.
Okay.
People feel like if it was a group that was
so
like,
you can yeah,
like
a
if it was a Jewish
protected
group, or if
group.
it was like a Muslim
Wow.
group, or
So-
what I'm saying is people don't care if it's Catholic.
Really?
Well,
That's
look at the way that
sad.
they act.
I know you're right.
This
you're
is
right.
what I'm saying.
No, you're right. If you
It's
said
any-
something about
If
Jewish,
you said anything
you'd
about
be...
you shouldn't.
Right.
You shouldn't say anything.
Exactly.
You
Who
shouldn't
would
say-
anyway?
You shouldn't say anything about anybody's faith, but I feel like when it
Absolutely.
comes to Catholicism,
It's
people
more of a free
don't-
pass.
it's a free,
Yeah,
it's like
you're right.
people think that they can say whatever they
And
want,
that's historically.
and it's
So, yeah,
historically.
yeah,
It's like there's a
historically.
lot of anti-Catholic stuff going
Yes,
on, which
there is.
I personally,
I agree.
I mean, I know that Clasby was in the Men of Divine Mercy,
Right.
but imagine how awful that must have felt for those people in
course,
that
they were
group.
victims
They were
too, you know what I
betrayed by
mean?
someone that was very close to them.
God's been a
And it-
victim of
Yes.
Clasby's deceit. He deceived all of us. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But weaponizing that and
Yeah.
really attacking someone's faith. It's like faith is a
Yeah.
very personal thing for people, regardless of what religion you are. You could be Buddhist, you could be this, you could be that.
Absolutely.
I
Very
feel that
personal,
people's
private,
faith should
yeah,
be
respected.
everybody's faith.
Totally.
And the fact that they keep using the word the Men of Divine Mercy
Yeah.
like a slur.
Awful.
I don't
yeah.
like that. That bothers me.
Awful.
That bothers me. And I think that Mahoney bringing that up in the meeting, saying, well, I don't know why anybody's not even talking about it being the Men of Divine Mercy. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
But again, she wasn't going to bring it up.
Well, it's your fault.
But for my actions.
Yes, let's blame you. She's nuts. Oh, and then Maggie McKee. Oh, so Susan Yuan, she was just in rare form.
Yeah.
Now, listen.
Wait, do you want to scoot back to what happen with me, or
Oh,
do you
yes.
wanna
Yeah,
continue?
no,
Okay.
we
All
have
right,
you.
go
Yes,
ahead.
we
Okay,
definitely
go
we
ahead.
have you. It's coming up.
Okay.
So you're talking about the purchasing order, the Celtics thing. Yeah, let's talk about that after because that's when Yuan went into her rant.
Yeah, she went after it.
Okay.
I never saw it, Leah, because I can't watch it again. Everyone's telling me not to.
Let's talk about
So can I
let's
say
walk
so? All
comes
right,
over.
wait.
Yeah,
Before then, I wasn't even tossed yet.
right.
So I'm talking about the purchase orders to Counselor McGee, which I'm happy to. That's the thing, Leah. I love purchasing, sadly. So, I'm that
Yeah.
nerd, right? And it's so interesting because when I went to law school, my mother was like, I took a course in contracts and I loved the professor, but my mother was like, I feel like you'd be good at that. Why? I don't know, but that's what purchasing is. Like we deal with all the contracts for the city, if like the bids that need to go out. And I loved it. The mayor put me there, which I, appreciate. He thought, like I said, I was a lawyer, I'd be good at it. I went to class at the IG's office for it to learn the
Oh,
laws
okay.
and everything. And I loved it. So like I said, I would stand there and talk about purchasing all day, but I'm not gonna sit there and get like eye daggers thrown at me and insinuations dropped left and right and veiled comments and veiled like threats. It's just like I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, so the conversation was fine with Counselor McGee. I answered it. She said that's not what she meant. Then I was distracted by the council president making the
Yes.
faces. And again, this has a backstory. So when I did my financial presentation, my financial budget, which was earlier in May, play the tape. We can find the tape.
Yeah.
Again, thank God everything's recorded. I was supposed to get there at about 7. So I got there about quarter of. I was early for once. So I was sitting there and I finally got up to present my budget, which, mind you, Leah, is
Very
salaries and about $500 for like
remember
supplies or
that.
something, right? Yeah. Like
I remember
literally,
you
we
s-
have nothing.
I remember you saying because our budget's so low.
It's right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's minimal, right? We have nothing.
No.
So I get up there at about 11:15 p.m. Okay, after getting there about 6:45. So I was sitting in the audience
Oh
that
my
long.
God, yes,
May
so
have
long.
passed out. Who
So
knows? May have
long.
passed away.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
I mean, it was meeting.
So she asks me a question, Council Yang. I was trying to answer her. That's another thing that's interesting about June 22nd. Remind me. Councilor Mahoney was sitting next to her because Councilor Ryan was chairing the meeting. So
You mean
Councilor Riley was chairing. You're right. Councilor Riley was chairing the meeting. So Ann was sitting in her seat, which was next to Councilor
Yuan.
June 22nd. She was sitting in Susan O'Connor's chair next to David Jacobs' chair in the meeting. Why didn't she sit in David Jacobs' chair?
I don't know.
Because she wanted to be next to him so she could tell him when to shut off the mics and when to toss me.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Right?
She makes eyes at him
The whole time, Leah, which again leads me to my thing. When I was talking to Councilor UN, I could
Not
see
UN.
Councilor Mahoney making faces. Yeah, but on my budget night, she was making faces and
okay.
she was distracting. She was like going like this. And I was like, oh my God, I was trying to concentrate, but it was distracting. So that's what she was doing.
She goes,
Leah.
and she goes,
She wobbles, but
she
they don't
texts us on
fall
the phone.
down. Yep. Uber Eats. Uber Eats.
right? She probably ordered her.
I should be out of here in a half hour.
Text David Jacobs. Make sure you
The
knock off
Baxter
those
boys. So I never forgot it. So there's that little backstory. I was like, why does she make faces when people are talking?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Councilor McGee, and I do stop mid-sentence and say, Council President Mahoney, do you have a question? I see you're making faces. I think that's what really pissed her off that night. Me asking her that. But I was genuinely curious, Leah. And like I said, it's distracting.
It is
So
distracting.
she kind of sat back in her chair and she was put off. You could tell. So then I don't know. I started saying there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking here and victim shaming. And I said about the
That was
W-9. Yep. And then nicely, Councilor McGee was like, I'm not trying to victim shame, which I did appreciate. She's like, I'm not trying to do that. And I was like, you're not. I said, but I said another counselor has or something like that.
Yeah, but you know what you have to, you know what though? So McKee has like a superpower, if you will. If there's one thing I will learn from McKee is she is a sniper. It's a way to say things in a tone that makes you sound nice,
Yeah.
but it's a lot,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Like,
you're right.
Her stomach,
You're right.
her stomach when she's speaking,
Yeah.
must turn. Like she must have
She
an
doesn't want to be
ulcer,
nice
or
because
she
she doesn't
must.
want to be nice. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she must have something because her tone
Yeah.
completely mismatches. I can imagine what's going on with her internally. So I don't know how someone could be so
You're right.
disconnected.
You
I
know?
wish I
Agree.
could do that. Like
Right.
when
Just,
I get passionate, I get like
yeah.
mad, I get this,
Yeah.
I
And
get
you
that.
can't like
She's able to just be very
turn it off.
calm,
Yeah.
turn it off,
It's
but
creepy,
she will get
actually.
you later.
It's creepy.
It is
Oh,
creepy. I think it's
you know
like,
what, Leah? You just said two things that literally lead me down to my next
yeah,
path
let's
about
go.
her. When you said that about her being like nice or whatever, and then not, because she said, I'm not trying to victim shame.
They
I
were
said,
fake. She
okay.
said some of these purchase orders were fake.
Okay. And then there was like a long ass awkward silence or
Mhm.
awkward pause, which you can listen to. It was like
Mhm.
nobody knew what was happening. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, I think I have another question. I don't know if it's for you. So I stood there in case it was. And then she started to talk. And then rather than ask a question, and this is what she does frequently too, she digresses into like victimhood, right? And this is what you were saying, Leah. It rubbed me the wrong way because I know it's patently false. She's been foyering us for years, Leah, long before any of this, okay? You can ask Mary. I'm talking years, okay?
There you go.
And we've been giving her information at
Mhm.
her beck and call. I know that for a fact in the city. If we have access to something electronically, boom, you have it. We're not hiding anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she started to have a question about something saying Clasby. There was a culture of untouchableness
Right.
because he said he was close to the mayor. So again, because he says it,
So
we're all at fault
you know
because
what's
he
so
says it.
you know what's so funny is when I was researching this, and unfortunately I started researching this morning
Okay.
because it was the 4th of July
Yeah,
weekend.
exactly.
And
Which is
I was putting
fitting that we're
I
doing
know.
this on that
I
weekend,
was
isn't it?
yes, I was putting stuff together for this
Yeah.
podcast, and I came across, and I'm gonna look for this later, somewhere in a memo, somebody said that Clasby felt untouchable because of his relationship with the mayor,
Yeah.
right?
And he
Now,
professed it, right?
but hold on a second. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh, well, just because someone said that doesn't
Exactly.
mean it's true.
Right.
So I want to like read the memo
Right.
because it reminded me of in the statue lawsuit,
Okay.
right? So I don't know who did the investigation and I don't know who the players were, right? But I know
Into what? The
well, when
statue?
it came to the statues,
Okay.
the injunction was ordered by
Yep.
that Judge William Sullivan.
Yes.
And I found out that William Sullivan actually had a history with the mayor.
Yes.
And he said he
Like an
found,
adverse one, right?
yes, and
Okay.
he said he found the mayor self-serving and didn't
Okay.
believe his affidavit.
Right.
So how do I know that this memo from this investigator or whatever they researched,
Right.
it could just
Right.
be
It's their
they could
opinion
be
or
biased in some way,
exactly.
and because they're
Right.
saying, "Oh, well, Clasby felt like he was untouchable because of his relationship with the mayor," people were intimidated to speak up. I don't necessarily know whether that's true.
Right.
That could be something that someone wants to pepper out there because
Right.
they don't
True.
like
Of
the
course.
mayor.
It
They don't
sounds
like,
like that.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I have to really like. I want to know who said this.
Right.
How many
Yep.
people said it?
Yeah.
How
You
did you?
could interview people
How did you
from
get that for your
right.
finding?
Yeah.
Because now you
Was it
have.
the FBI that said it, Leah? I think
I
they
don't.
were referring to that sentencing guideline. I think it was in that.
There was some
Yeah.
memorandum that was reported in the Patriot Ledger.
Okay.
And then I was going to go on to the Pacer website
Okay.
this morning, but I had to put
Okay.
in my credit card. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
look at it later.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
like even that thing about a culture of
Yeah.
intimidation,
Yeah.
and we don't even know if that's
Right.
true or something that's just not. They have nothing
It's
else. They
manufactured, right?
can't.
To try and make us look
Yeah,
bad, right?
they can't implicate the administrative
Right.
they
Right.
cannot
Yeah. You're right.
implicate the administration in any other way
But to say
than
something
this
silly
one
like
thing.
exactly, which is like you can't prove it
You
really, or
can't you
disprove it
really
unless you
can't prove
interview
it unless
people.
people were, and maybe people,
Were intimidated. Who knows?
we don't know.
But again,
I don't
if
think
if
they were. Maybe they were
again,
scared that they
right.
didn't. I don't believe that.
Right. And
That's all.
again, though, Leah, if they were scared and if he scared them,
I don't think
doesn't
they
that
should.
still go back to him though as
That's
being the
right.
perpetrator and
That's
at
still,
fault?
yeah.
You know what I mean? He may have scared people, but why is that our fault?
That's
Like we
right.
didn't do it, he
Right.
did again. You know what I
That's
mean? Let's
right.
go back to the one person here
Right.
that if he went around like a bully and was like, I'm best friends with the mayor, again, that's his fault.
I don't know if he did that.
I don't either. But if he did, like I said, again, that's his problem and his things to deal with.
Well, for people who don't know, and then we'll get back on topic
Okay.
again, because this is just something that
Yeah.
it's the most ridiculous thing that
Yeah.
he bought. Now this is so strange.
Yeah.
He bought 153 pounds of premier bourbon steak tips.
Yeah. So I think he brought them home and he
What are you
probably
doing?
gave them to his girlfriend, they said.
153 pounds of
Yep.
steak
He
tips?
gave them, like, he probably gave them away. Yeah.
To
Like,
who though?
he gave them to the girlfriend. He brought them home. A lot of the stuff he brought to his house. So whether they had a big cookout or something, you know what I mean? Yeah.
What about the recording studio sing songs? If I could get
You
that.
know he's a singer though, right? In a very he was like a talent. He would sing all over the place, Leah. You knew that, right?
No, I had no
He had an
idea.
Irish music group. He sang everywhere.
Really?
He sang at Sacred Heart. Yes, he's a talented musician.
I've got to get
Yes,
the
please.
karaoke.
Oh, you could.
Karaoke.
You know where he used to sing, and you could probably find these. You know the city used to have the St. Patrick's Day events.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
annual
yeah,
ones?
yeah,
He
yeah.
used to sing there with his guitar.
I got to get the footage for that.
Kind of
I
looks
gotta
like
get
Kermit
I
the
gotta
Frog and the, on that log.
So many songs.
But it was a nice voice.
Maybe me and Tom, when he gets out of jail, we could do a duet on my podcast. Eat some steak tips.
And put the portrait of himself behind
my
you.
God.
That's creepy.
At the end of the day, though,
That's
he's paying the money back.
Yes, he is.
And
he's paying his doing his time, right?
You know what I mean? And
pled
then
guilty.
the Prius for his secret girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think what bothers me the
weird.
most,
Yeah.
like if it were me and it
Yeah.
was like my husband,
Oh, forget it.
like
No,
I don't
the secret
care
girlfriend.
if you didn't have to spend a
Secret-
dime. You had me at secret girlfriend. There doesn't need to be anything else. There doesn't need no Prius. There doesn't need to be any steak tips. There doesn't need to be any
Bye-bye.
Olin Mills photographs.
Bye-bye.
You secret girlfriend. That's it. That's all I
But
gotta hear.
you
You're
know
dead.
what?
You're dead. You're dead.
She's standing by him.
But what about the wife? She's standing by him.
The wife is
I don't-
because of her vows that she took. Yeah. They're very Catholic. I think
don't
they
it
met
has
on a Catholic
that has nothing to do
match.com.
with
I
being
know.
Catholic.
You could get it annulled, Leah.
No. The Catholic
Right?
says Jesus Christ says you can get divorced.
Absolutely.
It
If you
says right
get
in the Bible. He
harmed like
says
that.
hardness of heart. It says it right there. If someone, because I know a friend of mine was like Christian,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Well, I can't divorce him because of that." Jesus, I go, Jesus didn't tell you that, and I pulled out a Bible verse. He
Yeah.
said, Jesus says,
Good for you.
somebody's hardness of heart, hardness
Yeah.
of heart. And so when she would say, I can't leave him, like hardness of heart, that's all I'd say.
Yeah,
And then she ended up leaving him because she was attached to him, and that's okay. If you want,
course,
you know,
of
if she wants to
I
stay
don't
with him, she
judge,
loves
you know what I
him.
mean?
but
Exactly.
I'm all
You know what I
set.
mean? Me too.
I mean, I
Totally.
can say, but I mean,
Right.
secret girlfriend. That is just,
it's so sad.
so-
It's just
it's
the
so-
whole thing.
it's so
just
stupid.
disgusting
And then to have it brought,
disgraceful.
and then what I don't like is, again, the city council, like they know all this. They
Yeah.
know that there's been a federal investigation.
Yeah.
They know that they know that, you know, the administration has been exonerated, really, that there's nothing there.
100%.
But they still want to
Yep.
have this show.
Complete waste of time. Complete waste of time.
Waste
Seriously.
of time.
Right?
It is a complete
There's so
waste.
many other more important things that could have been discussed.
So many things.
You
but
know?
it's for their
For all
voters.
optics. Yep.
So now
The soundbite.
you get ushered.
So I'm there. So I asked Council Mahoney, and I think that really made her mad. So then I thought I thought Council McGee had another question. So I stood there and she said, I do have another question. I'm not sure if it's for you. And so I stood there and then she digressed into victimhood that she knows how it feels. Like Clasby's friends that are intimidated.
Oh yeah,
She gets that because she's intimidated and she's been met with nothing but resistance from this administration. And she's only been here 6 months.
Yes, that's right. She said
But
that.
again, Leah,
and then you
that's
said,
patently false because you've been given everything, Councilor McGee, that you've been looking for. I know that for a fact.
since she was, and then you
And so
say,
is that why you didn't hold a community meeting in Ward 5 regarding the ENC?
and that's when everything.
That's not how it broke loose.
The gavel.
The gavel. Chris Walker. You can hear it in the background. I was like, oh my God.
And they had cut your mic too by then.
Nobody
They had
knew
cut
what
your
I
mic.
said.
I heard you. They cut your mic.
Nobody knew. My sister Karen was like, what did you say? Nobody knew what I said. Everyone's asking me. Nobody knew. Okay.
Yeah,
That's scary, Leah.
that is scary.
That's scary because somebody could spin the wrong story if they
That's-
wanted to, right?
That's right. You could have
They
said.
could say I said I'm gonna
Who knows?
take your left kidney when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, right?
Mhm.
Who knows? They
Who
could
knows?
make up anything.
Well, they definitely are trying to control those
Right. Why are they
chambers
cutting the
in
mics
ways
otherwise?
that
Leave the mic on. Like, that'd be the last thing I can think of, Leah. Cut somebody's mic.
they are controlling
Yeah, the narrative.
the council chambers
Yeah.
in a way that is not in line with
No.
open meeting law. That's
Well,
for
it's a
sure.
public building, right? It's a
Right.
public meeting.
So then you get on shit to the
So
back.
then all hell broke. Chris
Yeah.
Walker came flying around the corner. I had the front row of their supporters screaming at me.
I know, and no gavel for that.
No toss out, my
No
friend.
toss out for that either.
And this is before you even uttered a word,
That-
Leah. So they were screaming at me. So if you do watch the tape, you'll see me looking like this.
They
I
cut
have
the mic.
them all there. Yep, they cut the mic. I have
Cut the
them
mic.
all here. The counselor is screaming at me. I have Chris Walker here telling me, "You're done. You're gone. You're done." And then I have all them screaming at me in the front row. So I'm looking down and I'm saying, "Excuse me?" Because they're like, "Calm down. They can ask questions." That's what they were saying. I was like, "Excuse me?" Like, it was just so bizarre. And then Chris, like, ushered me away. And I said, "Chris, I'm not leaving. I didn't do anything wrong." And he's like, "You're gone. You're done." I said, "I'm not leaving. I didn't do anything." And so, yeah, so I said, "I'll sit back here," which was embarrassing enough, Leah. I was like literally
Yeah,
banished.
like you're going to the back.
I was in
classroom.
time out. Yeah, I was in
You're banished to the back of the classroom.
detention. Yes,
For
ma'am.
what?
For asking a question about the ENC. Oh, and mind you, that's the other thing. And it was kind of sad. People were like, "Who said something about their mom?" When I got gabbled and screamed at 100 miles an hour, what? I said, "My mom lives in the ward." That's what I said, because she does. My mom has a Save the ENC sign out front. Like,
Wow.
I grew up at the Eastern Nazarene College. I live down the street from it. My mom's still there. So I said, "What?" I go, "My mom lives in the ward." And someone was like, "I heard someone say something about their mom," which, like, it's kind of sad. You know what I mean? But the mics were cut. They were literally screaming their heads off at me, Leah. As you know, you were in the back.
Yeah.
So I got banished to the back and I was sitting in like the back row and I had kind of forgotten all about it. And then 15, 20 minutes later,
So then all of a sudden,
we get
Ann Mahoney starts
From the
talking
front.
about, and I knew, she says, she calls you out. She says, I knew what purchasing
Yeah.
orders were.
Yeah.
I'm only saying that because, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
And you were like, "For me?" And she's
And she
like,
was
"Yeah,
saying
she calls you
Hoban.
Kathryn Hoban." And
Yeah.
you go, "That's not my name." And
Yeah.
she goes, "Hoban."
Yeah.
She like really enunciated it. If you watch the meeting, she's like, "Hoban."
So is
She's
that
so-
an outburst, Leah?
she's so
Or is
angry.
what I did an
And so
outburst?
you hear her calling you up from the
back.
dais.
Yep.
So you're like, "Oh, she wants to
I
speak
hear
to
her
me."
screaming and I can kind of see I was so far back.
You
And
start
mind
getting up.
you, Leah, I had forgotten all about getting potentially tossed the first time. I forgot all about it. I was sitting there. I was like watching the meeting. I was so far back. I was trying to see. I saw you guys. Like, I saw you when I got tossed the first time. When I walked back, some guy was sitting there and he goes like that.
Yeah,
He gave
yeah.
me the thumbs up. And like I said, I just forgot all about it. I was watching. And then, like you said, I hear her incessantly screaming from the dais. Is that what it's called?
The dais.
The dais. Yeah. Hoban. And I know what a purchase order is. And I was
But I'm
like,
embarrassed.
what?
I was embarrassed for you.
I'm embarrassed for you.
It's like,
I'm embarrassed for you. That's what I could see
but
from the back.
let's put it this way. Like, she is the council president
Screaming
conducting
a meeting.
city business,
Yep.
conducting a meeting. And she took that opportunity
to scream at
say how
me.
embarrassed she was for you. That had no
15 minutes later,
that had no bearing at all. So then you
Leah,
come up, it was too much.
I was sitting in the back, like I said, 15 minutes later. Is that like weird or what, to resurrect that
Too
all?
much. And then I just
So I
said-
got up and I
Yeah.
said, first of all, my name's not Hoban. And somewhere between here, my
So-
friend said,
So I said, "Wow, that's not behavior befitting a council president."
yeah, you were like
Which
something
it's
like
not.
conduct unbecoming a council
Conduct, and
president.
I wasn't even yelling. I was
No,
I was
she
just,
was like this. Wow, conduct
I-
unbecoming.
I
And
didn't even have my hands on my face. Like,
Leah, she goes like this. What? Is she talking to me? She couldn't even barely hear. She goes, is she talking to me? That's what she said. If you watch back that
sorry,
tape,
she
okay.
looked and she goes, "You're talking to me?" And
Yeah.
I said,
Oh.
"Yeah, I am talking to you."
Good. So
I said,
what?
"Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
I'm
talk to the
talking to you,
queen,
yeah.
Leah?
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
I don't even know what she was talking about.
Yeah.
So she said,
I got up and
Yeah.
said, first of all, that's not my name. And I said it like in a very monotone. I said, first of all, that's not my name.
Yeah.
And I said, secondly, I wasn't talking to you about purchase orders. I was talking to Counselor McGee. And she said, you asked if I had a question. And I said, based on, and then it cut off
Likes.
your facial expressions
Mhm.
because she was making weird facial expressions,
She
but
does.
she had already cut the
So
mic.
bad.
And then gavel, Kathryn Logan will be tossed. And because you said conduct unbecoming, Leah DeGloria will be tossed too.
And I have the police record, so I'm gonna
Officer,
find
he,
it.
he pointed to the officer. And I said, I'm not tossed. I said, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I swooped up my stuff, about to walk. There's two types of people in this world, me and Leah. I'm like bawling, walking back. And Leah's like,
Yeah, but don't you gotta realize this is your job, and
I know. I was sad. Like, I didn't know.
you've been going through this in a way that
Yep.
I'm not. Like, you have
Yeah,
to deal with
true.
this every day, 9 to 5, the city council, the
Yep.
FOIA requests,
And
the
you're
like
right,
implications.
Leah.
Like, I don't deal with that. I'm in my house, and
Yeah.
then I go to the council meeting,
Yeah.
and I see what they're saying,
And
I'm
I've
like,
worked for the past almost 20 years tirelessly
you've been there
for
for
the
20
city.
years?
Yep. It's coming upon 20 years. And like I said,
When is it
I
20
didn't
years?
even
I didn't
take,
even know you were there for 20
yep,
years.
I hardly took a 1 week's full vacation straight, Leah. I think I did once when I had to drive down to Tampa to see Donald. We would take, like, I'd go like Friday to Monday, then come back to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and then go Thursday to Friday for pretty much my entire career. So I wouldn't leave the city, not moving and not approving recs and stuff like that, like city business, not keep it moving. Like, I literally have dedicated my entire life to the city. And
See, I
this
had
is how
no idea that
I've
you
been
worked for
treated.
I had no idea you worked there for 20 years.
Yep.
No
Yep. Yep.
idea. So then that to me adds
I
another.
came with the mayor's administration. He got sworn in January and I started in February.
You're shitting me.
But I started in front, like, you know, where somebody sits when you go up to the mayor's office, somebody greets you there.
Yeah.
That's where I started.
Okay.
That's where I was. And then because I was a lawyer, he put me in the solicitor's office, but I was kind of working with public buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I kind of started working with, like, helping them, like, get stuff ready to bid and just stuff like that. And then I went over to purchasing.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that adds a whole nother layer because here you are, a longtime 20-year
Yeah.
employee
Yeah.
of the administration.
Yeah.
It almost feels like that's why you're a target too, and why they don't.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm
why they
lumped
don't
in
like you.
as, yeah. Which again, I mean, that's evidenced in her Patriot Ledger article that followed this incident, right? Where she said, I stood up there with impunity, which has negative connotations to me,
Well,
and entitlement, Leah, which I beg to differ,
well,
Counselor Mahoney.
let's talk
I've
about.
never been entitled to anything.
You know what? What you say.
Yeah.
What you say says more about you than it does about the other person.
True.
So by her using the word impunity,
Yeah.
saying and impunity, because I had to look that up,
Yeah.
that means someone who doesn't think they're going to be punished.
Yeah.
Or is
It's a
going to suffer
negative
no consequence.
connotation, right?
No, no.
Again.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on a second. That means that the way she thinks is that she wants to
Oh.
punish people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Don't forget when this all happened to Leah, Hank and Mike said they heard when she cut her mic say she will be fired in the morning.
Don't worry, she'll be fired in the morning. Right.
What does that mean, Leah? She doesn't have
She-
those. She doesn't have that
Doesn't have
authority
authority.
under her role, Leah.
So
Even in Holbrook, she doesn't.
so
She's a town administrator, not the town manager. A town administrator doesn't have firing powers. The board does, as we saw with the Baxter board.
So
which
she,
we'll
I know the best
talk
one.
about
So
a whole nother
she,
episode.
by using the word impunity,
Yes.
which means she wants to punish people.
Okay. See, I thought of it like, again, that I was doing something illegal, but I'm not going to get punished for it. That's what I thought she meant.
No, that's what she meant.
Okay.
But I'm taking another layer
Oh,
to
like
talk
that's what
about.
she does.
To talk about like psychology, like okay, you're using the
you're
word,
right.
you're looking at somebody and you're saying, "Wow, look at them.
Yeah.
They acting like they're not going to be punished."
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Why would you think you would be punished for getting up and speaking at a meeting? This is what she does. She punishes people if she can. And it is, it's
Handmaid's Tale.
it's actually really scary to think
Yeah,
that she's
Leah.
looking at people who
She's
work for the city
terrifying, Leah.
as people who should be punished.
Well, yes.
That's what
And
she
like
wants
you
to do.
said, you know, the way she punishes them is goes after their jobs. I mean, who does that? Look at Dave McCarthy. Look at they were doing with Karen. We're gonna cut her salary $50,000.
50%.
Seriously, like who does that when someone's sitting at home watching? Like, do they
I hadn't
understand
even had a chance to get to that.
human nature? Is
Mhm.
like that would like terrify someone, but that's what they do,
That's
Leah. They want to instill fear, and that's they know that's their power because they approve our budgets.
But they didn't get the power because David and Kathy's still here. But
Right.
right. But
But I
back
have to,
to
I if I was still sitting and working in the city, I'd have to go in front of them next year too.
right. So after you get ejected and I get ejected, I
Yes,
go
I
after
know.
you. You
So
leave
I'm like,
out.
Leah's like, "Are you gonna go back in at 7 like this?" And I'm like, ugly crying, and I'm like, "No, I'm going home." So she went.
No, that I didn't go back in. So someone had said to me
You
the two different
could
meetings.
have, right?
So instead
Didn't
of
you have an ordinance thing on there?
there was an ordinance and
I
then there
mean,
was a
the
regular
open
meeting.
meeting law violation.
So what I did was is I just went and sat outside the council chambers in the waiting area,
Which is sad.
which is
Never,
well,
it's
I
like
know,
you're
but
banished.
it's a public building. So I was sitting there in the public building,
Yeah.
and then
After being banished from the room, which you shouldn't have been.
well, yes, because what happened was
Yeah.
the council is supposed to give you a warning.
Warning first.
So if they give you a warning and then you don't listen, then they kick you out. So
Right.
kicking me out, asking me
Illegal
to
all
leave,
around, right? For me
asking me to
too.
leave without a warning is a
Illegal.
violation of the open meeting law. That's the first one.
Yeah.
Then I went back and I was like, you know what? I'll just sit in the waiting outside of the council chambers. So
Were
it
you
was not
waiting until 7, or
no,
had 7
no.
already come? You were just
Seven had
sitting there.
already seven had
It's
already
sad though,
come.
Leah. You were like banished from the room. That's not right, honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, 7 would already come and I was sitting outside
Yep.
and I just figured I'll just wait here. And then the police officer comes out and he said,
Were you sitting?
David Jacobs wants you to leave. And I
How did
said,
he know you were there?
because David Jacobs told him
No,
that
how did David know you were there? Could
because
he
he
see
said he
you?
could see me through the window, but I don't think so because I had gone live and I said I'm
Okay.
going to stay. So they monitor my
Oh.
social media. The bully
Are they
alliance.
monitoring while they're up at the?
I think people who were in the audience
Oh,
must have
their
said I was
friends in
still
the
here.
front row
Who knows?
that
Somehow
heckle and
he
don't get
said it was
tossed?
yeah.
Okay.
Somehow he knew I was out there.
Okay, creepy.
Now he's not
They
at
monitor your
yeah,
movements.
and he's not. That's a public
So
building.
weird.
I
No
said
kidding.
I said to the police officer, I said, you know, you don't have the authority to remove me because the city council can't remove me from a public building.
Right.
And he said,
Without a
well,
trespass order.
right,
Like
he's-
Zamzow's had a few against
right.
him.
So he said, just leave and come down and then you can just file a complaint. So I
Yeah.
just left
Right,
peacefully
right.
because
Of
what am I
course,
going to
it's
do?
not his fault. They were nice.
Yeah.
Remember when they were told to toss us first? He didn't even move from against the
Well,
wall.
because
And the police chief was sitting right there and he didn't even get up. So that's how crazy me and you were, huh, Leah? They
right.
didn't even
No one even knew what was
flinch,
going
right?
on. So
Exactly.
that was a lie. So we leave, and that. And, you know, I feel like I
Yes,
am going
I
to
would
file
know.
it. I feel like I'm going to file another open meeting law.
Okay,
I just
wait. Can
haven't
I
had a
just
chance
ask
yet.
something? I thought yours was on that night on Maggie's lawyer.
It is.
What was the how was that resolved? Or was that postponed till September?
So
approximately?
with that,
Yep.
I'm doing a records request.
So wait, they didn't talk about it that night, or did they?
They did talk about it that
What'd they
night.
say?
They said that they found no open meeting law violation.
Of course they didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And that, you know, I actually don't
Such
even
a waste
I
of
don't really
time with
remember what they
that.
said about it, but apparently they don't think that she has to give.
Of course they don't.
It was not a quorum. They don't think it was a quorum and
Okay.
all that shit. So
Yeah, but it's like the fox watching the hen house.
well,
You ask the fox, is there a problem? No, we're all good here. You know what I mean? As he eats all the hens after
well,
somebody
Solicitor
leaves.
Timmons got up and he did say, you know, it does violate the spirit of the open meeting law. He said that in another meeting, which is
Mhm.
true. So I'm approaching this on two fronts. There's the open meeting law
Yeah.
violation about the shadow attorney, but there's also the records request. So I appealed to the supervisor of records. I did
Okay.
a public records request
Okay.
stating that, you know, I requested the information. The city said they didn't have it because
Mhm.
it's Maggie McKee says she's got attorney-client privilege.
Did she do it on a private email?
And she said the city said they don't have it.
Okay.
So then I appealed to the supervisor of records.
Good for you.
The supervisor of records said, wait a minute, if she's going to claim, first of all, you didn't do any search at all. You really need to do proof that you searched for this information.
Who you do?
No,
mean?
the city has to prove
Okay.
that they
Okay.
actually
And
tried.
they didn't.
They didn't. They asked Maggie McKee,
Okay.
and she said she claimed attorney-client privilege, and that was it. They didn't try to
They
search
didn't search her email.
emails,
Really?
nothing, right?
Why? That doesn't seem right.
They said they didn't have it.
Okay.
So the supervisor of record said, first of all, you have to show that you actually did a search.
Okay, good.
Second of all, she's claiming attorney-client privilege. We need a log of who the attorney is
Exactly.
and what you're claiming as the privilege. And they were supposed to
Exactly.
give it to me by tomorrow. But
July
Solicitor
6th.
yeah. But Solicitor Timmons already got back to me. I haven't been able, I was going to put this together in a post saying Maggie's out of the country. She's not answering.
When's she out of the country until mid-July? I think you posted that too.
I don't
You're
know.
like,
I didn't post
good
that.
luck to all your Ward 5 people. If you need anything, reach out to your counselor at large.
Maggie's out of the country.
Ian Mahoney.
And Solicitor Timmons said, there's really nothing I can do. I don't have access to her email. And so I went back to the supervisor of records. I said that what the
my
supervisor
God,
of records
Leah.
has told them
So
to
they're
do.
not going to respond to you by tomorrow. So that'll be defined.
Gonna have to go to the attorney general's office. Gonna have to escalate.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll go with you if you want.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Whatever happened? Did we ever follow? And I know it's a topic for another combo, but did you ever follow up that did Ann Mahoney ever respond to the campaign finance committee regarding the Uber Eats? Remember they gave her a deadline?
Yes. I mean, it just said resolved.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
so
know
she
what
must have. I'm glad we brought that to light too.
I
and
don't
you
know
did. Because if we didn't, Leah, it wouldn't have been resolved.
but I think it's okay for her to
Okay.
do Uber Eats, I think.
It is, but they wanted more information.
They did want more information.
They think it's okay. Personally, I've never ordered Uber Eats in my entire life because I feel like it's like a little bit of a wasteful spending. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it's
so I don't think I'd be spending my hard-earned campaign supporters' donations for multiple Uber Eats in one day, right? I mean, weren't there like 4 or 5 in one day, Leah?
there was like 30 in a month.
And
Like
that's the people that work really hard and give their $25. That's what they expect it to be used on, because I bet they don't order Uber Eats either, because you know what? None of us are rich here, right? And so we try and save when we can, but I guess not Counselor Mahoney. She's rich living off the campaign financing account.
I'm not donating to anybody's campaign thinking that they're going to buy Uber Eats.
Me neither.
Let's just put it
Me
that way.
neither.
That's
Me
not what-
neither. And you know what else? And this may sound trivial, but I don't like getting ATM fees for using out of branch networks. You know what I mean? Like that bothers me.
Yeah.
Because every dollar matters, right? But apparently not to her when
No.
it's not her money, right?
No. All right. So where do we leave this? We've been talking for like an hour. We've talked about all
That
types
was
of things.
Fun. It went by fast, girl.
Yes. What's
Well,
next for you?
Okay. So let's look at this the other way. All right. I know it's been going on before this because like the statutes, I mean, we have so much to talk about, right?
Okay, well, we're going to
Campaign
do
fair raises.
we-
You
yeah.
know that inside and out.
We're going to start doing a regular podcast at
Okay.
some point.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And however, with me, let's put it this way. This has been like a week of hell from 6/22/2026 to 6/29/2026 has been really hurtful and eye-opening for me. So if you want, we can just, I guess, go like maybe do that 7-week day-to-day and just chat about what's been going on and leading to the culmination of like when I walked into his office.
You want to do that now or you want to do that another? Well, then that would be 2 different podcasts.
Okay.
That was, I think we did great.
I loved that.
This is my first guest ever in studio. To be doing more and more of this stuff. Once
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are so brilliant.
We're going to I'll edit this all
I
together.
feel like you're the modern day turtle boy and you're a woman and I love it. Right? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I'd love to, like I said, chat more. It was a 7-day period, a seven days of hell. So we're going to talk about the next couple days we can.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's
We'll
do
see
it.
you soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
everybody.
you.